Hey, what's going on guys? Welcome back to Brotel. Here's the best builds video for the entire Rite of Shadows banner. I came up with 3 builds for Celica, Mei, and Boey. Only 2 for Genny though. If you guys haven't seen my review on the banner yet, you can check it out by clicking the link in the description on my channel or at the end of this video. You can also find timestamps in the description if you want to skip to a certain hero. And let us begin with Celica. Celica arrives in the game with a powerful unique tome, Ragnarok, basically a built-in one-time life and death effect unless you find ways to restore her health back to full. She hits really hard with it and does not need any setup or buffs to do so. For red mages, her offensive stats I'd say are above average. On the other hand, defensive stats are not that great. They're not too low, but they're just mediocre. Lastly, her default skill set doesn't increase her damage, so you are going to need to inherit some skills to do so. This is her budget build. Best IVs to run with this set are going to be positive speed with minus HP, defense, or resistance. So I kept all the default skills intact and gave her reciprocal aid and renewal. Her default skill set lacks damage while Ragnarok's effect, so you want to have skills to restore Celica's HP back to full to continue using that boost from Ragnarok. Renewal is only going to help in situations where Celica attacks an enemy that can't counterattack back, so in most cases after attacking a melee unit. Reciprocal aid is going to help her restore her HP back to full in situations where she's trying to nuke a ranged unit and endures that one hit. Here's some results to show you guys how important it is to keep her at full HP. When damaged, she loses the ability to one round KO over half the heroes and reduces a bit of tankiness on the defensive end. You can inherit reciprocal aid from 3-star Donald, Matthew, Setsuna, and renewal from 4-star Faye. Total SP is 855. This one is like the upgrade version of the previous build, same concept, but this time Celica won't be totally useless after the 5 self damage from Ragnarok. You can run Life and Death or Swift Sparrow in the 8th slot. Life and Death gives her 2 more wins on offense but 10 more losses on defense. For my preference, I would rather use Life and Death instead of Swift Sparrow. You can choose either one depending on your preference and skill fodder availability. Obviously, the first hit is going to hurt a lot, 107 wins and 3 losses. After the 5 self damage, she still does a hefty amount of damage, 78 wins and 11 losses. Threatened resistance will help her do more damage in her weakened state. It's almost an entire rework, so it's going to be really expensive. One required 5-star for that Life and Death 3, total SP is 2,355. I would say this is her best and most optimal build. It's almost the same set for any other fast glass cannon mage, except I recommend using Fury instead of Life and Death. This way she perfectly gets into desperation range after one fight because she takes a total of 11 self damage from Ragnarok and Fury. Usually with the Life and Death desperation combo, the only way to easily get into desperation range is from using Ardent Sacrifice. In Celica's case, she can't do that because it would just negate Ragnarok's effect. So with the Fury desperation combo, she can nuke one enemy, get into desperation range, and proceed to nuke more enemies. The best part about it is that she doesn't have to waste one turn to use Ardent Sacrifice to set up for desperation. Reciprocal aid is obviously there for sustain, and everything else is pretty much standard. Here's the results for the set for full HP and 75% HP. SP wise, still expensive, 2,250 total SP, but feather wise, it's less than the second build. You pretty much just need a lot of 4-star fodder units. Mei is kind of weird to evaluate. She's got excellent attack and resistance. Speed for a mage, I would say it's okay. HP and defense are so bad. She has desperation and drawback, which are typically what you want on glass cannon mages. The issue is that desperation is only useful on really fast units, and Mei's speed is kind of on the borderline. Her new weapon Blar Owl is kind of niche, but it is a way to grant her more speed, and that's awesome. I would say Blar Owl is a decent tome, but not better than Blade or Raven tomes. Here's her budget build. Best results for her are plus speed, minus HP or defense. Give her Fury 3, Moonbow, and swap her C skill with Hone Speed. Life and Death will give her better offensive results, but worsens her defensive results. It's also a harder skill to come by, so for a budget set, Fury will do just fine. Fury is also convenient to get her into desperation range with just 2 ticks of self damage. Since she has Blar Owl and its effect encourages Mei to be surrounded by allies, some type of AoE buff can be useful in the C slot. Since this is a budget build and the C slot isn't too important, I'm just going to keep B Tome Experience 2 on there. I chose Moonbow for the special just because it's the best special for 1-round KOing, and that's just what mages are used for. But if you want to use some other specials, good options are Iceberg and Luna. Offensive results for this budget set is not that bad. Here's the results for all the numbers of adjacent allies. I mean, one adjacent ally being at 82 wins and 2 losses is fairly decent, especially for a budget build. If you just include Fury and Moonbow, then it's just going to cost you 975 SP. With Hone Speed replacing B-Tome Experience 2, then it's going to cost 1500 SP. Alright, so this build includes a lot of skills to synergize with Blar Owl. The 8th slot is debatable between Fury and Life and Death. Fury obviously will give her slightly lower results, but it does allow Mei to survive 1-round KOs from George, Julia, Female Robin, Takumi, and Varian. I don't think it's too important since Mei is a blue mage with low HP and defense, so you're probably not going to use her to attack into archers and green mages. Wings of Mercy meshes very nicely with Blar Owl, pretty much guaranteed to get at least 1 stack of Blar Owl's effect in. Actually, let me just show you the results for each stack. 1 stack is pretty good. 2 stacks has some good stuff going on there, and it's not even that hard to pull off. Again, C-slot is flexible, but I think some type of buff is great. You can choose either to use a hone or spur buff depending on what you need for your team. 3 4-stars and 1 5-stars. Total SP is 2130. The last build is just the standard blade build, not anything too exciting or new. She's really good with the Blar Blade Tome. I believe she's the 2nd or 3rd best blue blade mage user in the game now, with Lindy being at number 1. I'm using Blar Blade Plus for this build, but you can just use the normal Blar Blade. The difference is only 4 might, but that's not important. What is important is the effect. If you can get Blar Blade Plus, then more power to you. It'll just cost you a 5-star Odin instead of a 3-star version. So with just Erica on your team giving Mei a +3 attack and +4 speed boost, Mei's results are 119 wins and 3 losses. If you have the normal version of Blar Blade, then it's 115 wins. It'll only cost you 1 5-star if you opt to go for the normal Blar Blade, but for the best version it will require 2. Total SP is 2025. Next is Boey. He's got really nice bulk, high HP and defense for a mage, but horrible resistance, poor attack and speed. The main issue with Boey is his lack of damage. Even with multiple adjacent allies, Boey still doesn't impress me. His default skill set makes him built to specialize in tanking archers and daggers, but still dies to one of the more notable colorless units, which is Kaguro. Also, at the moment, blue mages are really popular in Arena, and Boey has a hard time dueling against them despite the weapon advantage. Skill inheritance is a must to make Boey viable, or rather useful. Alright, so the preferred IVs for Boey is plus attack minus HP. However, if you aren't planning on upgrading your Boey with skill inheritance, then plus HP minus resistance would be the preferred IVs to utilize Earth Boost better. So this set is focused on allowing Boey to take many shots and either chipping heroes away slowly or one-shotting them with Ignis. I'm not going to show you any numbers because Boey without skill inheritance makes me sad. 1 3-star and 1 4-star, total SP is 750. Okay, so the main problem with Boey is that he's slow and he's a tanky mage, which means sometimes you use him to tank melee enemies, but he can't attack back. So to fix those 2 problems, give him close counter and quick riposte. The results aren't too impressive, but he survives fairly well, so he can probably get a couple procs of bonfire in. Reciprocal aid is there to heal him back up to full to use another round of quick riposte. Shouldn't have a problem doing that since Boey is most likely going to be surrounded by at least 1 ally, hopefully. And threatened attack is there to make him even tankier. Of course, it's going to cost a lot. Close counter and quick riposte are expensive skills. Total SP is 2130. This final build is probably his most optimal one. Boey is really effective at tanking colorless types, so here's a build which capitalizes on that. The problem before was he would still instantly die to Kaguro. With Grand Raven Plus and Triangle Adept, he can now kill Kaguro on the counterattack. Not only that, Triangle Adept with Blue Tonebreaker will help him survive and kill popular blue mages like Reinhardt, Lindy, and Spring Lucina. You just gotta keep him away from all the red types and Nino. Bonfire is a better option than Ignis because it's 1 less cooldown. Boey is really slow, so you gotta give him a decently low cooldown special. You can pick either reposition or drawback for the assist slot. Reposition works well with tanks since they can just flip an ally behind them and tank a hit for them. You can also use Lancebreaker instead of Blue Tonebreaker, but Lance units don't do much damage to him anyways. It would only help him offensively by allowing him to double Lance units. This is an entire kit rework, so the cost is about to be off the charts. Total SP is 2850. Last but not least is Genny. She's got the highest attack among all the healers, really high resistance as well, but it still doesn't make her tankier compared to someone like Sakura, mainly because of her speed. 25 speed is pretty low, and what is also low is her HP. Her new skill Wrathful Staff works great with her high attack stat. However, the other skills like her weapon and assist aren't the best and should be upgraded. She also has low base total stats, so if you want to reach higher in arena rankings, then she is not recommended. So Genny doesn't have the best speed, so we need to give her all the speed she can get. Plus speed and minus resistance are going to be the best IVs. Give her speed plus 3 and breath of life 3 with assault equipped. Assault is a vanilla staff but has the most might out of all the staffs. Genny can one-round KO 25 heroes with this build. Some notable heroes are Ephraim, Reinhardt, Xander, and even base Hector. Since this build is kind of aggressive, Breath of Life is there to make sure your allies still get some type of healing. Physic doesn't heal a lot, so Imbue is useful for that extra boost. 2 4-stars and total cost is 840. Next and final build of the video, best IVs are plus attack and minus resistance. You gotta be careful on positioning for this build. She doesn't have physic or that extra speed to help her survivability, but for this set she's less aggressive and is more on the supporty side. She isn't going to one-round KO as many enemies compared to assault and speed plus 3, but she's going to put a huge dent in almost anyone she attacks. The best 2 healing assists in my opinion are Rehabilitate and Martyr. I think Genny may have a hard time pulling off Martyr since she only has 32 HP and very low speed, so Rehabilitation is the better option. Because Rehabilitate raises the special cooldown, you gotta use one of the 1-charge specials like Imbue or one of the bombs. Imbue doesn't combo well with Rehabilitate, so use Stillwater Bomb instead. It'll raise your allies' resistance while Fortified Defense will boost the defense. 5 4-stars for this build, total cost is 1590 SP. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or other builds in mind, you can comment below. I would love to hear your thoughts and builds for some of these heroes. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video.